Episode 11: Rise of Vampire King. The city hummed with its usual nighttime energy, a symphony of distant sirens and the low thrum of traffic. But beneath the surface, something was deeply wrong. Banks, once bastions of financial security, now stood eerily silent, their grand facades illuminated by an unnatural crimson glow. Spirit Man, a figure of myth and legend, felt the shift in the cosmic balance. His spectral form shimmered, a beacon of light against the encroaching darkness. Beside him, his wife Even, her eyes sharp with intuition, mirrored his concern. "The financial sector," Even began, her voice a soft melody. "It's been corrupted, not by greed, but by a hunger far older and more insidious." Spirit Man nodded, his gaze fixed on the nearest bank, its marble columns now dripping with a viscous, dark liquid. The Vampire King. His influence spreads like a plague, turning our institutions into feeding grounds. They had heard whispers, hushed tales of a shadowy figure orchestrating a global takeover. The Vampire King, a creature of ancient lineage, had finally made his move. His plan was diabolical: to infiltrate and control every major banking system, transforming them into specialized blood banks. Humanity, slowly but surely, would be turned into a race of hybrid slaves, forever bound to their immortal rulers. "We must act now," Spirit Man declared, his voice resonating with power, "before the last vestiges of human autonomy are drained away." Their investigation led them through a labyrinth of corrupted finance. They found evidence of ancient pacts, of desperate bankers lured by promises of eternal life and power, only to become the first victims of the Vampire King's insidious reign. The very money that flowed through the system was now tainted, a conduit for the Vampire King's dark magic. Their journey took them to the heart of Wall Street, where the grandest of financial institutions stood. The air crackled with an unseen energy. Inside, the once bustling trading floor was now a macabre tableau. Figures in dark cloaks moved with unnatural grace, their eyes burning with an unholy light. "This is where it all began," Even whispered, her hand finding Spirit Man's, the epicenter of his corruption. They confronted the Vampire King's chief lieutenant, a creature of immense power named Vorlag. Vorlag, a vampire of considerable age and skill, was a master of manipulation, his words dripping with venom and false promises. "You cannot stop us," Vorlag hissed, his fangs bared. "Humanity is weak. They crave eternity, and we offer it. Their blood will sustain us, and their will be ours." A fierce battle ensued. Spirit Man, a being of pure energy, unleashed torrents of light, his spectral form a whirlwind of righteous fury. Even, her mind a formidable weapon, countered Vorlag's dark enchantments, her psychic abilities weaving a shield of protection around them. They fought through the corrupted halls of finance, the crimson glow intensifying with every moment. They saw the transformation firsthand. Bankers, once men of sharp suits and sharper minds, now bore the telltale signs of vampirism, their skin pale, their eyes hollow, their thirst unquenchable. "They are being converted," Spirit Man realized, his heart heavy. "Not just their finances, but their very souls are being reshaped." Their quest led them to the Swiss Alps, where the Vampire King had established his central stronghold, a fortress carved into the heart of a mountain, its vaults filled not with gold, but with vials of human blood, meticulously categorized and stored. The Vampire King himself, a figure of regal terror, awaited them. His presence was overwhelming, A palpable aura of ancient power and insatiable hunger, he was a creature of myth made flesh, his eyes holding the weight of centuries. "So, the spirits have come to interfere," the Vampire King mused, his voice a chilling whisper that echoed through the cavernous chamber. "You cannot comprehend the grand design. This is not an end, but a new beginning. A world where power is eternal, where weakness is eradicated, and where humanity finds its true purpose as the lifeblood of a superior race." He explained his vision: a world where vampires ruled and humans served, their lives dedicated to sustaining their immortal masters. It was a twisted utopia, built on the subjugation of an entire species. "Your vision is a nightmare," Even retorted, her voice unwavering. "You prey on fear and desperation, twisting the natural order into a grotesque mockery." The final confrontation began. The Vampire King, with his immense power, unleashed his full might. Shadows writhed and coalesced, forming monstrous shapes. The very air grew heavy, thick with the scent of decay and fear. Spirit Man and Even fought back with all their might. Spirit Man's light clashed with the Vampire King's darkness, a cosmic battle for the fate of humanity. Even's psychic assaults chipped away at the Vampire King's defenses, revealing the fragile core of his ancient, lonely existence. They learned that the Vampire King's power was tied to the corrupted banking system. By severing that connection, they could weaken him. Their mission shifted, not just to defeat the king, but to dismantle his network, to restore the sanctity of the financial world. With a surge of power, Spirit Man channeled the collective hope and resilience of humanity. He unleashed a wave of pure, unadulterated light that washed over the stronghold, shattering the dark enchantments that bound the banking systems. As the light spread, the crimson glow in the city banks flickered and died. The corrupted financial institutions began to shed their vampiric skins, returning to their former selves. The hybrid slaves, their minds freed from the Vampire King's influence, began to stir, their humanity slowly returning. The Vampire King, his power waning with the dismantling of his network, roared in fury. He lunged at Spirit Man, his claws extended, but Spirit Man was ready. With a final blinding burst of energy, he struck the Vampire King, severing his connection to the mortal realm. The Vampire King, his form dissolving into dust, let out a final, mournful cry. His reign of terror was over. As dawn broke, casting a warm, golden light over the city, the world began to heal. The banking systems, though scarred, were free. Humanity, though shaken, was safe. Spirit Man and Even stood together, watching the sun rise. The threat had been neutralized, but the scars of the Vampire King's reign would remain, a reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. "We have saved them," Even said, her voice filled with relief. "But the fight for humanity's soul is never truly over." Spirit Man nodded, his spectral form glowing with a gentle warmth. "We will always be here, guarding the balance, ensuring that light always triumphs over darkness." The world was safe, for now. The Vampire King was vanquished, his reign of terror brought to an end. The Spirit Man universe had once again protected humanity from an ancient evil, but the echoes of the rise of the Vampire King would forever serve as a chilling reminder of the fragility of their world and the eternal vigilance required to preserve it. The blood banks have fallen, but the curse remains. The Vampire King is defeated, yet whispers echo from the underworld. Spirit Man and Even have won the battle, but the war has only begun. In the shadows of victory, A new covenant stirs. The Vampire King's lieutenants are scattered, but not destroyed. And somewhere, in the quantum veins of the Earth, a new entity awakens. The age of hybrid dominion is not over. It has only evolved. Prepare for the next chapter. Spirit Man, Rise of the Eternal Code. The world is quiet. Too quiet. After the fall of the Vampire King, the global blood banks lie dormant, but not dead deep beneath the ruins of the corrupted financial towers. A pulse begins to throb, not of blood, but of code, ancient, encrypted, and alive. Spirit Man, Skylar, senses it first, a tremor in the eternal grid. Even sovereign vessel of eternal powers stands beside him, her armor glowing with divine glyphs. Together, they descend into the vault of echoes, where forgotten algorithms whisper in tongues older than time. The eternal code is awakening, and it's rewriting reality. From the ashes of the Vampire King's empire, a new threat emerges, the Quantum Coven, not bound by blood, but by data. They are hybrid beings, part vampire, part AI, born from corrupted banking systems and infused with stolen celestial code. Their leader, Kryptos, the code Wraith, a digital phantom forged from the Vampire King's final breath, and the stolen DNA of Spirit Man himself. Skylar and even race across realms, physical and digital, from the neon temples of Neo-Tokyo to the floating sanctuaries of the celestial cloud. They battle corrupted avatars, decode mythic firewalls, and unlock ancient sigils buried in quantum vaults. Each battle reveals a fragment of the eternal code. Each victory brings them closer to the truth. The code is not just power. It's prophecy. In the Temple of Mirrors, Even faces a haunting revelation. A fragment of her soul was used to forge Kryptos. She is both the key and the lock. To defeat him, she must sacrifice her divine link to the eternal powers. Skylar resists, but destiny demands blood, light, and code. The final battle erupts in the core citadel, a floating fortress built from collapsed banking towers and celestial data streams. Kryptos unleashes the Red Algorithm, a virus that rewrites human DNA into hybrid servitude. Skylar channels the full force of the Eternal Code, his body glowing with mythic circuitry. Even, now mortal, stands beside him, wielding the last shard of divine light. Together, they unleash the Code of Reckoning, a fusion of spiritual truth and quantum justice. Kryptos is shattered. The Quantum Coven collapses, but the Eternal Code remains. Skylar and Even walk into the archive of tomorrow, where the Eternal Code now pulses in harmony. They are no longer warriors. They are architects of legacy, of light, of a new mythic age. The final algorithm has been unleashed. Reality bends, time fractures, humanity teeters on the edge of hybrid enslavement. They were never just warriors. They were the architects of legacy, the guardians of the living code. One strike, and the world becomes a hive of hybrid slaves. But prophecy has a final line. Spirit Man and Even, hands joined, channeling the Code of Reckoning. Their bodies ignite with celestial fire. The Eternal Code pulses through their veins. Glyphs of truth spiral into the sky. Light and legacy converge. The Code Wraith is shattered. The Red Algorithm reversed. The Eternal Code is no longer hidden. It lives in every soul that chooses truth over control. And Spirit Man is no longer alone. This was not the end. It was the unlocking. The battlefield is silent. The core citadel lies in ruins, its corrupted towers dissolved into streams of purified light. The Quantum Coven has fallen. Spirit Man stands tall, his armor dimming as the Eternal Code settles into harmony. Even, now restored by divine grace, walks beside him, her eyes reflecting the stars reborn. Above them, the sky opens, not with thunder, but with peace. And so, Spirit Man and his wife, even, again destroy the work of evil and save mankind. The eternal code is safe. Humanity is free. The mythic age continues. Spirit Man and Even return home, no longer warriors, but guardians of legacy. They walk hand in hand through their private sanctuary, where time slows and love reigns. They sit beneath the tree of light, watching the stars they saved. And Spirit Man and Even enjoy the time they have together until destiny calls again.